What it do? Welcome to video number 2. This is Oscar, my lovely wife Karina, and together we're Oscarina. Oh man, so it's been a little bit since we posted our first video, and in honesty, we've been like a little bit like on self-sabotage. We didn't really know what we wanted to talk about this second video, but great minds think alike. We sat down, we put pen to paper, and we realized that we wanted to educate everybody who knows us or doesn't know us, like who we are as a couple, as individuals, where we've been in the past, where we're at today, and most importantly, where we're going tomorrow. So with that being said, we're gonna tell you both of our stories, how we met, and then how we intertwined into today. So with that being said, Karina and I, we met like 10 years ago. And we actually met in California. We met in California at a business event. And, you know, I was there to learn about business, and she was there to meet a significant other, actually.
Oh my God, why, bro?
What do you mean?
That wasn't part of the speech.
We're telling her. She's mad because we didn't write this part in the notes.
Oh my goodness.
But let's talk about what it is. So whatever, long story short, she met your boy and the rest is history. Nah, but for real. So we went to California to learn about business. We went to California for a couple reasons, right? But when we first met, we were already a part of a multi-level marketing company. You know, those pyramids that people be talking about, those. And it was amazing because it literally stretched our minds, our vision,
Our belief system.
our belief systems, and it just gave us a whole nother perspective on why entrepreneurship was the way to go. And with that being said, at the time I was probably like 21 years old. Yeah, I was 21 or 22, and I was a store manager for AutoZone. As a 21, 22-year-old store manager, I would say I was bringing 40K a year. In today's world, I believe now like the starting salary is like 60. So at AutoZone, that's what I was bringing in when I was 22. And you know, I didn't like to compare myself, but the people that were my age at the time, I would say I was making pretty good money in comparison to everybody that was my age. Until I met somebody who was making 5 times that, and then I was like, "Well, what are you doing?" And they shared with me the business model of ACN. I got started with the company. My vision was here, but my realization was here. You know, like I wanted the time freedom. I wanted the finances. I wanted to travel. I wanted to get so many things done. And the reality was that my business was not where I wanted it to be. But through hard work, dedication, growth, personal growth and development, networking, just driving and nonstop hustle, we were able to build up to a position that would allow me to earn up to 6 figures a year. And my peak month, I brought in a little over $8,000 for the month, and I thought I had made it. You know, I thought I had made it. I said, "Oh, look, mom, dad, I'm right, you're wrong." Ha ha ha. And then I quit my job. So I quit my job, and it was security. And then I remember my dad gave me this analogy. He said like, "Oh, like, you know, like when monkeys, when they jump from one tree to the next, it's like they got the branch right here, but they haven't let go of this branch." And so I'm like, "So you calling me a monkey?" No, but the moral of the story is that, you know, like they're not letting go of this one until this one is like held on. You know what I mean? So he's like, right now, you think your business is making money, but it's like a loose branch. So if you let go of this one, guess what? You're gonna fall. And I didn't want to hear that at the time. At the time, I was like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. And he was right. After that peak of 8K for the month, it just shot all the way back down. I had quit my job, so I had no source of income. And it was, I want to say, one of the most challenging times in our relationship. Imagine you have this mindset, this mentality of achieving so much and growing, and you want to give back, but your reality doesn't meet, what your dreams. Like, they're just your reality is here, and your expectations are here. And so there was a moment of 2 weeks where like I was like mentally down and out. We had to walk to drop off our oldest daughter at school. It was just a moment of pressure where we were gonna create a diamond, or our pipes were gonna burst. I don't know if you've ever heard that story where pressure creates diamonds, or it bursts pipes. And luckily for us, I don't have my diamond chain. Luckily for us, we shining. We created diamonds.
Oh, Lordy.
And man, what can I say? It was just a moment of pure hungerness, and we were able to come out of it on top. But it was dark days. It was not nice, and luckily I had my rock here holding me down. As our ship was sinking, she always had my back. She always supported me. She believed in me as the leader of the household. And then now we're here. So with that being said, I want to let her tell a little bit of her story, and then I'll come back and tell my story. Because I've been talking a lot. But with that being said, I'm gonna let Karina handle the beginning of 10 years ago today.
Okay, so 10 years ago, we met in California for a network marketing business. Mm-hmm. I obviously was there for other reasons as well, but mainly we were in ACN together. I was a single mom. My daughter was 3 years old, and basically it was like love at first sight. Mm-hmm. Just kidding. No, it was. But basically, we learned a lot. We did a lot of personal growth and development. We learned about mindset. We learned psychology. And most importantly, I learned how to make sales. So I knew that I could sell. I gained a lot of customers.
Yeah.
And I was really, really good at that. And Oscar was really good at apping up people to create a team. So he made more money than I did. So I didn't really understand that part of the business. So, it kind of went sideways. But while I was doing that, I was working at a law firm, corporate America. My car broke down at one point. Mm-hmm. We were living in his my mom's house, my parents' house, because he didn't want to leave his mom's house. So initially I had a roommate, an apartment, and our lease was up. We stayed there for like 2 years. He didn't want to get an apartment with me after that because he did not want to leave his mom's house. So we went to his mom's house, and we lived there for a long time. Like, how long? Like 5 years?
Long time.
It was a long time. Like, he did not want to leave. He never wanted to get a rental. Like, he didn't want to do
I love my
any of
mom.
that.
Shout out to all the moms out there. So it was a hard time.
It was very, very hard because we
go.
literally lived in that one bedroom. But anyways, to make a long story short, my car, there was a moment in my life where I was like 25, where my car broke down. I went to the dealership. I tried to pull out a car for the first time because that car was given to me from my mom. So I had never bought a car on my own.
It was like a 1992?
97 Toyota Avalon.
97 Toyota Avalon. Shout out to the Toyotas out there. They're still rolling, by the way.
And they declined me. I could not pull out a car. My credit score was 427. Like, it was just such a depressing moment of my life because we literally were walking to work. We were walking my daughter to school. And I just had like a quarter life century crisis where I was like, I have nothing. I have a low credit score. I don't have savings. We live at our mom's house. We don't own a house. We don't have a business. And, you know, like, we're from Miami. So it's very like bougie, and there's a lot of pressure. Like, you have to dress a certain way. You have to look a certain way. And I'm not saying that I care, but like, yeah, we all care. Like, we're from Miami. We're not trying to look like a bum. We're not trying to be a bum, and we're not trying to front like we're something we're not, because really, you know, we didn't have anything. So I was literally going through it, like, mentally. So that's when I kind of, you know, I started following Dave Ramsey. I paid my debts. I fixed my credit, and I actually went back to school to get my associate's degree because I felt like I needed to finish what I started. And most importantly, I needed security, or I felt as if maybe going back to school, I would gain like a career out of it and maybe then have something to show for it. Because again, this is something that I already know doesn't bring you money or guarantees you money. Because I also already knew people who had diplomas that weren't making money, etc. But it was just something that I thought maybe, just maybe, it'll take me a little further than I was at that very moment.
Right.
So eventually, I got fired from my law firm because I went to go take my final exam for my last class that I ever had for college. And then I started working at Cheesecake Factory as a waitress. I made more money at Cheesecake Factory as a waitress than I ever did in corporate America, period. So,
right.
And
so while working there, you were able to lose weight. You made money. But part of success is you gotta trade this for this. So like, you also would miss like Friday nights, like Saturdays.
Yeah, all weekends.
All weekends, you know, she was working. And those are the trade-offs, you know. Part of gaining success is, okay, what are you gonna give success so he can give you something, you know what I mean? So she was out there working, she was out there hustling, and to add to that as well, I was at the time already I was working two overnight jobs so I can build my business in the daytime. And so there was a moment in time where I captured myself and I said to myself, man, like, I know I can do more, be more. What can I do to add value, to create more money, to grow as a human being and as a man and as a business owner? And so I started working overnight as a security guard at a club. And then an opportunity came knocking, and it was AutoZone. And they said, hey, listen, we're going to open up a 24-hour store. Would you want to be a part of this store? You know, part of the staff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to humble myself. I'm going to any other person, you know what I'm saying? I was a store manager, and then I was going to come in as a shift manager. And to any other person, they would have been like, nah, my ego's too big. You know, I'm too good for that. If you don't give me this position, like, I'm not coming back. But thankfully, I've never had that point of view, that perspective. So I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna take that job. It's all the way in.
What's far?
Yeah, in Lauderhill. I'm sorry, Lauderhill Mall. And I'm coming from Hialeah. It takes like it's like a 45-minute drive. Maybe 50 minutes. And I'll take that, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be humble about it. I'm just here to make money, black and white. So that opportunity came, and guess what? I took it. Working at Rockwell 4 nights a week, working 3 nights a week at AutoZone, and vice versa. Sometimes I would work 4 here and 3 there. More of the story is I traded my time for money. All my nights were booked, and then eventually I got to a low where I was like, what can I do in the daytime, you know? And I got to a moment where I jumped in the shower, I prayed to God, I talked to God, and I said, Father, help me create something that will be a blessing for my family, for myself, for my church. What can I do? Point me in the right direction. Long story short, I'm there thinking, and the first thing that comes to my mind is like, okay, what tools do you have, right? See, we're not ever at a zero. Like, we always have something accessible. So literally at the time I said to myself, what do I have available? Like, what do I own? And I said, well, luckily my father gave me a pickup truck. Shout out to the Toyota Tundra. Anybody knows, you remember me driving that silver Tundra. So then I said to myself, okay, well, I got the pickup truck. Now what can I do with the pickup truck? And then I said to myself, well, I could do car washes, you know? I could do on-site car washes. I'll come to your house, your job, do the car wash. Then I was like, nah, I can't do that because there's like a million car wash companies. Ain't nothing wrong with them. I just said I wanted to be different. I wanted to stand out. I wanted, you know, what's my niche? What am I going to be able to do that people are going to be able to call me? Long story short, the next thought came and I said, oil changes. And I was like, damn, on-site oil changes? Nobody's doing that, right? And then I said to myself, all right, Oscar, this is the most important thing that you're going to actually commit to. And that's one word, and it's called action. And I said to myself in the mirror, and I was talking to myself out loud, God just dropped a bomb on me. And now it's my part to accept this challenge and take action. So I committed myself to taking actions. Other opportunities came knocking at the door at the time. Different multi-level marketing companies were starting to come up. And a lot of people that I knew in my previous company had a lot of success. Even though at that moment they were just starting, but they ended up having a lot of success. And so a lot of other, I don't want to say distractions, but a lot of other opportunities came where I said, no, I'm going to build this baby up and I'm going to be committed to her and my wife. And I'm going to make sure that we take this to the next level so we're able to live a better life. And so long story short, that's what I did. I worked all night time, and then in the daytime, I would build Mobil Oil Miami. And Mobil Oil Miami caught the attention of Avis Budget, the rental car companies. And once I caught their attention, the rest is history. So at the same time, Karina's working at Cheesecake Factory. I'm working 7 nights a week, and I'm building Mobil Oil Miami in the daytime. And what happens is that I finally land a big fish, right? And once I land a big fish, my night gigs, I start decreasing in productivity. And so what ends up happening is that I basically get fired from AutoZone, which I could see that coming because I was sleeping in the car instead of working. So like my break was like an hour. I was taking like 2 hours and a half. Not on purpose. It's just I was tired. I was physically tired. So that took a toll. And then eventually I got fired. But once that happened, that allowed me to work certain nights at the club and then work every single day with the oil changes. So it was a blessing. I learned a lot. I grew as a man, as a business owner. My wife was there to see it happen. And it's like, wow, like, you know, the things that we learned in our previous company, we applied it, and I say we because it's always been a tag team. We applied it to Mobil Oil Miami, and that baby just grew, and it developed itself to a point where we were able to purchase this diamond ring. We were able to save up to like close to 30K for this primary residence that we own, or working towards ownership, because the bank still owns. So, you know, our whole wedding was all sponsored by our business, which was Mobile Oil Miami. And so, again, going back to that moment in time where I said to myself, this is the moment where I'm going to take action. I'm going to take action like if we was recording a movie. And, you know, because I took action, we are where we're at today. And I say that to leave upon you that anybody can be at a zero or a negative point in their life, and as long as you take action, like, you can always come out of the hole. It's just about believing in yourself, believing in God, that both of you working together simultaneously, you're gonna come up. So I appreciate God for giving me that vision, and we're working towards our goals. Every year they get bigger and better and stronger. And you know, it's like taking an elevator or walking through the steps, like little by little. It's just, we keep going a little bit higher every single year. With that being said,
right before Mobile Oil took off, we were introduced the Frenchie business. Correct. And we had literally went half and half on this investment. I put, you know, most of my tax money in there.
Yes, and we put up like the other half, 2,000 each, right, more or less,
for our first one.
For our first female, yeah.
And
so that was like right before we got married.
Right before Mobile Oil took off. So we literally threw all our pennies in there. Right. And that was February.
February. We got married in December.
We had our first litter in October. Right. Which was the hardest litter to have. Like, not to have, but to sell. Actually had to as well. But you know, we had puppies. It was hard to sell, especially at a decent price, or, you know, like the price that they normally sell for. Yeah. What else?
And we grew in that moment because there's a saying, you know, first you learn, then you earn. But the only difference between learn and earn is the L in learn. So expect to learn, expect to lose, expect to grow through the process. And once you drop off that L, get ready for the earn part. So what ended up happening was, it was the most challenging litter because it was our first one. Mm-hmm. We had a mentor that helped us get started, but they were having challenges themselves. So we took it upon ourselves where we were like, you know what? If anybody's gonna do this for us, it's gonna be us. So we got creative and we just found a way to find the best homes for these 4 beautiful pups that we had. Yeah. And
initially it was called Giselle Frenchies, which is my daughter's middle name. And one day Oscar was in the shower, because that's where he gets his great ideas from. And he was like, why don't we call our business, or why don't we change the name to BFF Frenchies, Best Friends Frenchies, and it'll be an acronym, something that everybody can remember, and we can obviously, not obviously, but we promote it like as friends. Like, so Friends is something that everybody loves, or most people really, really enjoy that show. Right. And so BFF has like the colors of Friends on the paws, and that's basically like what BFF stands for. So Best Friends Miami. We got creative with the name. We got creative with how we, you know, made sales.
So everything comes down. Hit the light for me. So everything comes down from like being intentional, you know? So like, well, what I said was like, for Mobile Oil Miami, for example, that was our first business that we started. We created that name because there's an oil company that's mobile, like the gas station, but they don't have an E behind their mobile name. So the idea was mobile, but people were going to associate mobile, the gas station. And that's why I landed Avis Budget.
Mm-hmm.
They thought I was mobile, like the gas station. They didn't realize I was mobile oil Miami. And so that was just playing with like subconsciousness and why everything is done with purpose.
Yes.
So I said to myself, same situation. I'm like, all right, now that we got our first litter on the ground and we were able to make sales, I was like, okay, let's be intentional about the name. Like, what is going to be our identity? What is going to set us apart from the next breeder? But most importantly, why are people going to shop with us versus shopping with a competitor? And so I said to myself, well, man's best friend is a dog. People associate man's best friend with the dog. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay, what could we do to develop that and put our taste to it? So then I remember like the Friends show, and then again, this is in the shower, me talking to God, mm-hmm. me praying, me asking for guidance, and guess what happens? Boom, the Friends show comes into my head. Okay, so I'm writing it down on a piece of paper, like Friends show. Okay, cool. Man's best friend. Okay, cool. Oh, BFF. Oh, BFF. I'm like, damn. Okay, so how could I make my spin? And I said, okay, well, best friends forever. And then I'm like, oh, best friends Frenchies, duh. Like, let's go. Best friends Frenchies, BFF. And then the idea of the colors and the font came from the Friends show. So it was like, well, people that watch Friends, they're gonna connect to that. And they're gonna be like, wow, okay. Mm-hmm. So, and then we've had a lot of people come to us at different events, different shows, and they're like, yo, you guys are like the Friends, like, and I'm like, yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. And so guess what happens? Yeah. Their wall of fear or of not trusting, boom, automatically comes down. And now they trust us. That's a subconscious thing. So when you pick names, even with our kids, specifically our kids, like everything is done on purpose. It's not a mistake. Yeah. And I think success is done on purpose too. So you got to be very intentful on the most smallest detail to the biggest detail. And with that being said, that's where we got our names for Mobile Oil Miami. That's where we got the names for Best Friends Frenchies. And that's where we're going to continue to add names moving forward to our next businesses. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. And then another thing, the same person who introduced us to the Frenchie business also showed us Southwest Florida. Right. And that's why we moved from Miami to Cape Coral, because we saw it one day, we fell in love with the model home, and we said yes to moving and sacrificing, leaving our friends and our family and the nightlife and the entertainment, because there's a lot in Miami to do and there's not much to do over here.
Right.
Our family thought we were insane.
Once
again, they think that we're crazy. And I get it. Like, trust me, we knew what we were getting ourselves into, but we also knew that we wanted a bigger family. We wanted to grow. We wanted to own a house. And in Miami, everything was so much more expensive. We saw a townhome for $305,000. The mortgage was going to be like $2,600, and the house we bought was a little under $300,000, and our mortgage was like under $2,000. So, with that being said, we left from Miami to have a house, to have land, to have,
comfort,
better future for our kids, because it's definitely better to raise them, at least for us, for over here.
It's a better neighborhood.
Less distractions. Yeah. Better schools, etc.
So again, moving with purpose, moving with intent. We didn't just leave Miami because we wanted less distractions. We knew we were going to build a family with God's assistance. We knew what we wanted, and we prayed on it. And we did find a beautiful home for under $300K that is massive, and that's what You know, we said if we're gonna make a move, it's gonna be because it's worth it. And sure enough, it's been worth it. So right now we're actually in the middle of building a pool, and it's just adding more equity to the house. But at the same time, we're gonna have more memories with our kids starting this summer. And so we're just excited now. But at the moment, I remember we were extremely excited because, like she said, you know, our friends, our family, you know, like they thought we were crazy for moving like 2.5 hours away. But in reality, like our parents, like they left their countries. Like Karina's mom, like she left Peru. Her dad left Cuba. My parents left Nicaragua to come to the United States of America to live the American dream, to be able to help those in their countries. And so, you know, we had that conversation. We learn from them. We learn from them. That, you know what? We got to leave our comfort zone and we got to grow. We got to leave and we got to grow. And we've always been growing, thankfully, you know? So we moved to Cape Coral. Like she said, we purchased a pre-construction home, and
then COVID hit.
So it's all about being ready for the next shift, the next moment. So what happens is we purchased the house in April 2019, May 2019, and I still have Mobile Oil Miami, and at the same time we have our newest business venture, which is Best Friends Frenchies. And what ends up happening is in January of 2020, COVID hasn't hit 100%, but it's hitting. And Ava's budget, they know something, and they tell me, hey, guess what? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service, but we can't continue this business relationship. And at the time I was like, why not? You know, I didn't think much of it, but I guess they knew what was going to happen. And well, everybody knows 2 months later in March, boom, world shut down. So there was no travel. Everybody stayed at home. And guess what? That gave Best Friends Frenchie an opportunity to flourish. And man, did it flourish. Now, everybody was home. Guess what? People wanted to have a best friend. And then that business, boom, took off. So although Mobile Oil Miami was peaking, it took a dip. It came down a little bit. But we were already building another business that when this one took a dip, guess what? The next one flourished. And that was Best Friends Frenchies. At the same time, Karina got her license. Shout out to Remax Trend, right? And she became a realtor. And so at the same time that the Best Friends Frenchies business is taking off, well, guess what? The world shuts down. We don't know what the future looks like. But shout out to Ron DeSantis, and he does an amazing job of recruiting people to come to this beautiful, wonderful state of Florida. Straight up. And then once he shows what a real governor is supposed to act like, the floodgates are open. Everybody wants to come to Florida. But what happens, and this is what I want everybody to pay attention to. We don't know the future. But what we do know is we have to be ready for the next opportunity. So we didn't know COVID was going to hit, but we had Best Friends Frenchies. And guess what? That moment in time helped our name get out there, create connections, find best friends for our pups, and it helped us grow. But guess what? She became a realtor because you're never always satisfied with where you're at. And then she becomes a realtor, and in her first year as a realtor makes over 6 figures. Why? Because we were never satisfied. Although the Frenchie business was making money, she said, okay, I'm glad that we're in the position that we're in, but now, boom, we have this next opportunity. It took her 7 times to pass a realtor's test.
So embarrassing, but I failed so many times. I just knew that like once I passed it, I was going to make money. Like it didn't matter how many times I was going to fail. Of course, I cried like every time because I'm just emotional like that. But I don't regret it.
And think about it. Like how many people would have quit after their first time failing, their second time failing, their third time failing, their fourth time failing, their fifth time failing, their sixth? No. God had a special 7th test for her, and she aced it on the 7th test.
But...
All right, well,
5 or 7, who knows?
It was a lot.
It was a lot of times. The first time I took the test, my husband and my daughter came with flowers, champagne. Oh, it was so embarrassing. I just came out of the room crying even more when I saw them. But anyways, real estate definitely took off. When I first joined, all the realtors were like, oh, you're not gonna make any money. Oh, here's another realtor, blah 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 blah. Yeah, been making money, and real estate is amazing.
Life-changing.
Life-changing. You learn so much, about properties and about what people are investing in and what you shouldn't invest in and what you should, etc. But most importantly, you make money. So
she was able to clear 6 figures her first year, then her second year, and now she's in her 3rd year. And I say that to say that there's a next business coming. We've been blessed to be in the position of, I guess, like in the forefront or being ready for the next opportunity, because why? We're always looking for more. We're never satisfied. We're always hungry. So Mobile Oil gave birth to Best Friends Frenchies. Best Friends Frenchies gave birth to Karina PA. Karina PA has planted seeds for the next business, and one has led to the other. It's like the stairs that I was telling you. We're taking little steps up and up and up and up. So I say that to say this: never stop being hungry. Never stop learning. Always invest in yourself. The mind is like a parachute. It only works once it's open. Be creative. Understand that it takes sacrifice. It takes you being creative.
It takes vision. It takes faith. It takes work ethic.
Discipline, work ethic, vision. Like, if we were to have talked about 10 years ago where our life would be at today, 10 years later, like having 4 kids, having this beautiful house, having our van that fits us perfect to the T, for our family, just every little niche, every little detail in our life, like, I think we super exceeded our expectations. But now it's like, where are we gonna be in the next 10 years? God willing, we'll obviously be here, but what is our vision? So I ask you, what's your vision for your life in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself? What can you expect? Because we'll say this, we learned this in our first network marketing company. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and again and expecting a different result. So let's be real, you know what I mean? And let's get creative. Let's learn different things. Let's apply different things. And you never know what these new things, these new ventures can add to you, to your family, and grow. Life is about growth. So with that being said, I'm super, super, super excited about our next business venture. We're not dropping anything off. We're just adding more to the table, to the plate. I'm super excited.
Yeah, this new business venture is all about creating generational wealth.
Right.
And leaving an inheritance to our children and our children's children, etc. And we're super, super excited. Yeah, because we're going to have a bunch of great babies.
That's right.
Grandbabies. No.
That's right. That means we got to keep producing.
Oh, Lordy. We have 3 under 2 right now.
3 under 3.
3 under 2. We have a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a 7-month-old.
We have a 2.5-year-old,
a 13-year-old,
a 1.5-year-old, and a 7-month-old. So that means it's 3 under 3 because she already passed the year 2. She's 2.5. So technically, it's 3 under 3.
We're not gonna go there. So So we're really, really excited.
All right, so we're super pumped up. We're super fired up because this next business opportunity, we're going to be sharing it with y'all. Now, we've shared different opportunities before, but this one is next level. This one is a life-changing opportunity. And right now we're living in difficult times. A lot of talk of recessions, a lot of talk about war, a lot of just negative things going on. And we are blessed to be able to say, hey, wait, pause, give me 1 second. While all this craziness and madness is going on, work with us. You know what I'm saying? Work with us in this opportunity, because if you happen to work with us, you're gonna be changing your family's life like never before. Correct. So we're super excited to share with y'all. I'm gonna talk about it. Cool?
No.
What do you mean no?
You gotta save it for the next video, honey.
Oh, okay. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. The next one is gonna be fire. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. And cut.